Good day, YouTube. Today we're going to be changing the fuel filter on this 2.7 liter Hilux. It's a 2005 model. Always use Toyota genuine parts, and these are the tools we're going to be using. Some needle nose pliers, a couple of screwdrivers, quarter 10mm socket. We start by taking this charcoal canister out of the way of the fuel filter. So you just remove this hose, undo it here, and then it pulls up and out. And then that reveals these 3 nuts on the fuel filter housing. You get your socket. You loosen up these 3 nuts. You should replace your fuel filter every 80,000 or kilometers or so. Some people do it every 40,000. I've got LPG, so I don't run fuel as much as I do if I was just to run solely on petrol as well. And you pull that up, and you got your fuel hose going to the fuel injection system, and on the back you've got your fuel hose coming from the fuel tank. You might have a different fuel filter setup than this. I've seen the ones from auto parts store. They don't have the bracket or anything, they just have this, so you'll be unbolting this to unbolt that to get that out. They have these connectors here, and you don't just pull or yank. You have to take your little screwdriver and undo that. That pulls out. Sometimes that can be a pain. They've been in there a long time. And then you just, actually doesn't pull out, it pushes in. Push in and then pull up. Oh, it's gonna fight with me. And that comes off like that. You can see when you push in, that pulls those 2 away from it, stopping it. Same on the back side. This has a brown clip. You take the brown clip off first. It's basically a safety clip. Stops that thing from going in or out. It's fighting me all the way, isn't it? And that comes out. There's going to be fuel coming out of there. Make sure there's no open flames or any way to ignite the fuel. At this point, you're going to want to find a bucket or something to put this in so the fuel drains out. And you take your new fuel filter, and it's going to have plugs on both sides. Pull those plugs off. Yes. Yeah, can you hold on after this? And you just push that in until it clicks. It goes like that. And you can put it back on your mount. And then you can do the same with the top one. You push that in until it clicks and then pull it up so it's seated, and then make sure you put it, you're gonna have to put your other piece off your fuel filter housing, the plastic piece that goes here. You're gonna put the old one back on there so you can click this fuel hose into it. Till then, I take all the nuts, put the nuts back on. You can use a torque wrench for this, but they're about 6 to 8 foot-pounds. Yes. The spider gone? Spider's gone, honey. Take your old fuel filter, get your needle nose pliers, and squeeze that in, and then lift it up, pull it off. And then that just pulls out of that hole like that, and you've got your clamp. Go back to your new fuel filter housing. You can only really go one way. When you find out which way that is, push it in and it'll clip, and then put your fuel line back in there. Always important dealing with fuel that you want to have everything tight, clamped, so it's not going to leak. And now that fuel filter is all ready to go, you can put your charcoal canister back in. It's got a place where you can slide it, and you slide it down till it clicks. When it clicks, you take your other breather hose and you attach that to the top, and then you click that in its place too. And then you check to make sure all your tools are out of the area. And when they are, you start the vehicle up, run it on petrol. If it's dual fuel, run it on petrol to make sure the petrol's flowing through that fuel filter, and check for leaks. If there's no leaks, you're all done.